If you experience or feel stuck in stress, anxiety, worry, or depression, or if you know somebody who does and if you'd like to help, you're in the right place. I am going to share some important, practical, results-oriented strategies with you today. So many people feel stuck in stress, anxiety, worry, and depression and feel they don't know how to get out of it. That's just how they function, how their minds and their bodies function. I'm here to tell you, you can get out of it. You can get out of it. You are not stuck. I am going to share a number of strategies with you. So stress, anxiety, worry, and depression are usually a cycle that happens and gets repeated over and over again in your life. And it's usually been there with you, usually for years and years. It's probably not the first time you've had this, and it's a struggle where you've seen it happen over and over again, and it's just not something you know how to stop once it starts. And that's one of the reasons it's difficult to get rid of, because it's how your mind and your body have been functioning. It's what happens to you, and that's why people feel stuck. I'm going to again explain why you're not stuck, and this may take some time. This is not a 5-minute solution or everybody would be able to get out of it. It may take some time and practice and repeated advice, but I'm going to give you some basics today. So when there is stress and anxiety and worry and depression, there's usually a trigger. There's usually something that happens, something that makes you worried or concerned or upset, something that really sets off a trigger to make you become stressed or worried or depressed about something. And when that stress, when that trigger happens, we start to feel that stress, that anxiety, that depression. We feel it in our mind. Our mind, our internal dialogue is saying, oh no, this happened. Oh, what am I going to do about that? How am I going to deal with this? We start to hear inside our mind the struggle that's happening. And then the stress hormones are sent out to our body, and we may feel stress in our body as well. We may feel it in our body as tension. In our stomach, we may feel our stomach turning or tight. We may feel our palms sweating, or we're sweating under our arms. We may feel shallow breathing. We may feel our heart beating faster. Sometimes we feel these physical sensations, or some of them. Sometimes we don't feel them, but they still occur. And people sometimes end up with higher blood pressure because of this constant change that occurs as we live. So I want to mention first that there is a trigger and that stress occurs in our mind and our body. And it affects our nervous system in our body. There are 2 parts of the nervous system. One, you might have heard, is often referred to as the fight or flight system, when you're in your sympathetic system and your heart is beating fast and you're stressed or worried. When you're stressed or worried, you're in the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite. When you're relaxing, when you're meditating, when you're doing deep breathing, when you're in flow, listening to music or playing music or doing art or in other activities that you love. If you're hiking in nature and really relaxed, you're in parasympathetic mode. Again, when you're worried, stressed, anxious, depressed, you're in the sympathetic, the fight or flight part of your brain. When you are relaxed, in flow in music or art, or hiking or doing fun things, you are in your parasympathetic nervous system. So the first thing you can do, and again, this may take some practice, is when you feel a trigger, something that upsets you, something that worries you, something that's going to set off an episode of depression. When you first feel a trigger, instead of just sitting and letting the process that usually occurs move forward and proceed, I want you to try to interrupt that cycle and do something that will relax your body. Maybe do some comfortable deep breathing, not stressed breathing, but just comfortable deep breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, relax. Or even move your arms in a comfortable, flexible way to make your body feel flexible. Maybe stand up and take a walk and stretch. Or maybe think of a beautiful vacation place you've been in. Visualize in your mind and picture how relaxing it is. Or hum a tune you like. Or pick up a pen and doodle or draw something that if you like to draw. So what I'd like you to do is interrupt your fight or flight system that's going on when you're nervous or anxious, and do something that brings you, that puts you, that transforms you into the other side of the nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system, so that you're no longer trapped in your stress, anxiety, depression, or worry, because you've learned to exit the system, and you are stretching, and you are breathing, you are drawing a doodle or whatever you like to draw, you're in flow, listening to music or creating music. Second, I want you to think to yourself about this. We often keep ourselves in stress or anxiety or depression or worry because we feel, in a way, if there's something on our mind, if we keep it in our mind, if we stay committed to it and keep thinking about it, it's going to have a better outcome. But if you think about that, if you worry about something, that doesn't give it a better outcome. If you're anxious about what's going to happen, that doesn't give it a better outcome either. Similarly, if you're stressed or depressed about something, it doesn't change it. So I want you to use your logic to realize that getting out of these traps that hold you, that make you feel committed to the thing that's bothering you, don't make the outcome any better. What makes the outcome better is if you can relax your mind and feel relaxed, and later get back to the topic and think of something actively that you can do to improve the situation. Not to feel stressed about it or anxious or worried or depressed about it, but to think, what's my next step to solve this problem? That can be helpful. So I want you to think logically about that, how being in any of these traps, sad, depressed, anxious, worried, these do not improve the outcome. Learning to be calm, to have a peaceful mind, to be focused, can help you have the focus to develop a step to improve your situation. Next, I want you to implement a baseline to practice calm and peace in your life. Every morning, I'd like you to get into the habit of getting up even 5 minutes earlier. If you could do this longer, that would be great. And I want you to do something to feel calm. So a lot of people wake up in the morning, and from the time they wake up, they think, I have to take care of this and that and that. I have so many things to take care of. I don't know how I'm going to get all of this done. And very often people are stressed from the get-go, from the moment they wake up. And when you're stressed in the morning, when something challenging happens, it just spirals. It gets worse. What I'd like you to do is in the morning when you wake up, have some kind of a calming activity. It could be a routine you do daily if it's something you like, or it could be some different things that you switch over days that help get you calm. So that, and I'll give you some examples, but if you start the day calm, if something upsets you, if there's a challenge in the day, you can work to return to calm. But if you start the day stressed, it just spirals out. So what can you do in the morning? And you can even, if you don't have a lot of time, if you're not really a morning person, you can even do 5 minutes of meditation, of gratitude practice, of thinking. Let me think of 3 things that happened yesterday that I'm grateful for. And you could do that in 5 minutes. And think of 3 things, if not yesterday, if in the last few days. And try to be really specific. I had this great interaction or conversation with a friend or a family member. I had this great outcome on a program or a task that I did for work or home. I really bonded with somebody, with a child, or had a great interaction with a spouse, or a great interaction with somebody at work or in your community. You can spend 5 minutes coming up with 3 things you have gratitude for. Or, as I said, meditation, or some people like to go running or hiking in nature, or again, maybe music where you could be in flow for 5 minutes, either creating music, if that's your thing like it is mine, or listening to music, or creating art or looking at art, or again, thinking of a beautiful place you've been that makes you calm thinking about it and what a great time you had when you were there. And that again is baseline. So every morning you can start your morning in a calm, peaceful demeanor. And next, I want you to really value and prioritize me time. Not just in the mornings, but what times do you have during the week to allot to taking care of yourself, to leisure activities? So is it Tuesday after work at 5:30, or Monday mornings from 8 to 10, or Thursday afternoons after lunch, or whatever times work for you? And what are your leisure activities? What are the things that help you relax? So it could be going hiking or playing tennis or going to the gym or writing poetry or doing art or viewing art or again making music. We, especially as women, often deprioritize ourselves and our own needs. And even if we had a time on the calendar to go to the gym, we'll often say, oh, I have to do this for work, or I have to do this for somebody else instead. Don't cancel your own plans. Make believe the plan was for your best friend. You wouldn't cancel on your best friend. So don't cancel your own needs for yourself. Again, think about how important it is to take care of yourself and to live a calm, peaceful life. The more calm you are, the more prepared you are for life, the better you can handle the challenges for yourself, for the people in your life, and for your work. So I want you to think about these steps that I spoke about today, and about really exiting the cycle of stress, anxiety, worry, and depression. And know that you're not stuck in these cycles. You can get out of these cycles. It takes steps. It may take some time. You are not stuck. I often help my clients create the interruption steps they take when they have a trigger, and I usually create 3 things for them to do. Sometimes I help them create their baseline activities. What are you going to do every morning? And sometimes we talk about what are the weekly activities, your leisure activities that you're going to put on your calendar for me time, and how you're going to stay true to those plans, not deprioritize yourself and think, oh, this is just extra to take care of me. No, it's not extra to take care of you. It's important to take care of you. You deserve care. You deserve self-care. And you deserve a plan to get yourself out of the stress and the anxiety and the worry and the depression that you may feel that you're stuck in. But I hope that I showed you today that there are ways and there are plans by which you can totally get out of the cycle and leave it behind you and say, I used to do that, I used to have that, but now I have a calm and peaceful life. If you'd like to talk about some of these steps that I've spoken about in more detail and get some more customized insights and strategies, I'd be happy to have a talk. I will put my calendar in the comments section. And again, I hope to talk to some of you who are ready to move forward and to get out of that stressful, anxious, depressed situation where you may find yourself, to know you're not stuck, and to build that calm, peaceful life that you deserve. So let's talk soon. Come back to my Facebook group every week at our regular time on Sundays. If you are watching this in YouTube, make sure you subscribe so that you will get access to my upcoming recordings and advice as well. Let's get you to a calm and peaceful and happy life that you so deserve.